All right, today I'm going to tell you about an awesome new Disney movie that just hit theaters, Lilo and Stitch live action. It all kicks off somewhere in the Milky Way galaxy. One Tuesday night, the Intergalactic Council is in session to judge a scientist named Jumba for illegal genetic experimentation, which resulted in the creation of a monster codenamed 626. Jumba argues that this specimen is a huge leap forward. He's super strong, indestructible, and thinks faster than 100 supercomputers. Basically, a top-tier, pro-level creature. But the council members think 626 is just a disgusting abomination that needs to be wiped out. The Grand Councilwoman orders it to speak and show some kind of good quality. Instead, this little blue dude clears his throat and unleashes the most offensive swear word in the entire universe. Jumba apologizes, saying he didn't teach it that, but the verdict is in. Jumba's lab will be destroyed and experiment 626 is banished. Right after, 626 is taken to a holding cell. The warden warns him that laser cannons will track his every move, so don't even think about escaping. Stitch gets the memo, and after playing with his own spit, hocks a loogie right in the warden's face, and bam! The Grand Councilwoman hears about this and orders an immediate manhunt. But it's too late. Experiment 626 has escaped. He even nicks a red spaceship and makes a break for it. Security forces try to give chase, but it's pretty pathetic. According to the flight crew, the ship is set to land on a planet called Earth in about 12 hours. This place is 71% water, and water will increase 626's molecular density, making him heavy and basically drunk. They figure he'll probably kick the bucket pretty quick. But final calculations show the ship will crash land on a small island. Meanwhile, Jumba, while being escorted away, scoffs at the guards. He offers to help them find experiment 626 if they give him back his lab. The Grand Councilwoman isn't budging and tells her assistant to just destroy Earth to get it over with. Just then, a lizard-like alien named Pleakley shows up. He claims to be an Earth expert, stating that the planet is currently a protected nature reserve used for repopulating the mosquito species. Hearing this, the Grand Councilwoman changes her tune. "All right, Doctor," she says, "you're going to Earth to capture 626. Agent Pleakley will go with you and be your babysitter." Jumba is furious but has to go along with it. Pleakley, on the other hand, is so stoked he can barely contain himself. Traveling to Earth is his lifelong dream. Before they leave, the councilwoman warns them not to let humans know about their mission, or she'll have to intervene. Over on Earth, a little girl is happily snorkeling and feeding bread to the fish. This is Lilo, our main character, a cheerful and incredibly sweet kid. And super important, she's a massive animal lover. She's even freed her neighbor's chickens multiple times because she wanted them to be free. Suddenly, she realizes she's late and rushes to her hula performance. At the same time, Lilo's older sister, Nani, finishes her work shift and wants to see her little sister dance. When Lilo arrives, her teacher asks why she's late. She says she was busy buying a P&J sandwich for a fish. She even shows off her friendship bracelet to everyone. But they know Lilo doesn't have any friends and tease her, saying no one wants to play with her. Meanwhile, Nani's car won't start. During the hula dance, Lilo gets sad when she realizes her sister isn't there. Suddenly, a mean girl pushes her down. To get even, Lilo does the same thing. But the difference is, the other girl has her parents there to comfort her. Lilo is all alone. By the time Nani finally arrives, the performance has long been over. Back home, Lilo, still upset, locks her door. Nani tells her to open up, but Lilo refuses. "You always let me down. Why don't you just leave me alone? Why do you even care?" Just then, a social worker's car pulls up. Nani threatens to break down the door if Lilo doesn't open it immediately. Of course, the social worker sees this whole exchange. Nani tries to lie, saying nothing's wrong, and invites her in through the back door. Inside, the social worker notices a pile of unpaid bills on the table and a scratch on Lilo's arm. Nani tries to explain, but the social worker says, "I know what you're trying to do. I know your parents passed away recently, but Lilo needs to grow up in a better environment. Besides, you've only just become an adult, and taking care of your sister isn't easy." She explains that another social worker will visit soon, and if Nani meets their requirements, she can keep custody of Lilo. She hands Nani some papers. First, the house needs to be clean, tidy, and the fridge full. Second, Nani has to pay all outstanding bills. Third, she needs to get Social Security for both of them, and she has until Friday to get it all done. A little later, Nani bumps into her neighbor while taking out the trash. Since they're pretty close, the neighbor advises Nani to rethink her future. "You're a very smart girl. You even got into that world-famous marine biology graduate school. You should really focus on your studies." Nani says she can't because she has to work to earn money to take care of Lilo. Otherwise, social services will take her away. As they're talking, a guy named David shows up. He mentions he hasn't seen Nani surfing in ages. She just replies that she'll probably have to wait until Lilo is 18 before she has time for her passion again. Before going inside, the neighbor tells Nani to let her know if she needs any help and she'll do her best. Meanwhile, 626 is chilling on his ship when an engine check warning pops up. He couldn't care less and smashes the control panel because he feels bothered. Talk about a short fuse. As a result, the ship malfunctions, warning lights flash like crazy, and it's about to crash land on Earth. After their argument, Nani brings Lilo some sandwiches to make peace. Lilo confides in her about pushing the girl on stage earlier. But Nani says she already knows all about it, and no matter what happens, you'll always be my sister, and I love you with all my heart. Nothing in this world can tear us apart. While they're lying there looking at the ceiling, they see a shooting star. Lilo quickly clasps her hands and makes a wish. She sincerely prays for a friend, a real friend who will never leave. Little did she know, her wish would manifest as this goofy blue creature. The moment he lands on Earth, he tries to mess with a toad, but gets an electric shock that leaves him smoking. Turns out, Jumba is messing with the remote for a collar around 626's neck. Pleakley mentions the device has a tracker, so they can easily find where 626 is. Back with 626, after some struggling, he finally manages to remove the collar. He notices a party nearby and smells cake, so he swipes a vehicle and crashes the party. A wedding reception, lively and joyful, suddenly turns chaotic with the appearance of a blue creature no one has ever seen before. Poor bride and groom, this must be the worst day of their lives. Finally, 626 gets his paws on some cake and scarfs it down. While enjoying this earthly delight, he accidentally gets hit by a bus. The next day, Pleakley tells Jumba, once a year, humans rest and migrate to see the summer sun, drink poison, and have fun. To find 626, they figure it's best to blend in with the crowd. Who knows where they got the clothes, but they're covered head to toe. With their advanced tech, they can transform into a human just by touching someone. But since they're not used to their new bodies, their movements are super jerky. While crammed in an elevator, they see a news report on TV about a bizarre creature that crashed a party and caused chaos last night, now being held at an animal shelter. Coincidentally, Lilo is begging her neighbor to let her go to the animal shelter to adopt a puppy. Worried about her going alone, the neighbor even gives her a can of pepper spray for self-defense. 626 wakes up, panicked to find himself caged. He tries to get help from the other dogs, but no luck. Annoyed, he kicks the cage door open. Outside, he sees a discarded cake and devours it. Just as he's about to lick the plate clean, a dart zips by. Turns out, Jumba found him and is attacking. In this situation, 626 has no choice but to run. He sneaks back into the animal shelter unnoticed, while Lilo is looking for a dog to adopt. With his super hearing, 626 overhears Jumba and Pleakley's conversation and learns they can't harm humans. So, the only way to escape is to get Lilo to adopt him. He hides his 2 extra arms and the spines on his back, then sneakily appears behind Lilo. When she sees 626, she's overjoyed, screams, and hugs him tightly. The neighbor and the shelter manager advise her to pick another dog, saying this blue thing doesn't look trustworthy at all. But this 626 character is sly. He pulls all sorts of cute antics and wins Lilo over. She names him Stitch. Finally, mission accomplished. He gets adopted and heads home in the car, even sticking his face out to taunt Jumba, who's watching from afar. Back home, Nani scolds the neighbor for letting her sister adopt such a strange pet. But the neighbor says a pet is the best thing for Lilo. Now she won't feel lonely and Nani will have some time for herself. Nani has to go back to work, so she tells Lilo that this animal is now her responsibility and she has to keep an eye on him. Elsewhere, a CIA agent named Cobra Bubbles is investigating the crash site of 626's spaceship. His subordinate reports the ship is empty, no pilot or weapons. But there's intel that the local animal shelter found a very strange dog. He immediately orders everyone to focus their investigation there. While strolling through town, Stitch watches a horror movie and seems to really enjoy it. This furry blue guy is actually pretty cute. Just then, Lilo's mean friends walk by and make fun of her, saying Stitch is a weird dog just like her. Stitch spots a toy car, hops on, and takes it for a spin. Lilo climbs on too, and they zoom down the street at lightning speed, stopping at a cliff overlooking the sea. Seeing all the water around, Stitch looks devastated. His plan to escape this place has failed. Later, Lilo takes her new pet to the beach, but he's terrified of water and refuses to go in, no matter what. The two of them chase each other and wreak havoc all over the beach. When they get bored, they climb the lifeguard tower and howl for a bit, then soak in a hot tub, living like kings. Nani comes to pick Lilo up. She's really annoyed because Stitch is hyperactive and won't sit still. He keeps pulling pranks, nearly causing Nani to crash into Jumba and Pleakley on the road. Stitch glares at his enemies, but doesn't do anything. Jumba lets them go, but not before attaching a tracking device to their car. Afterward, Nani takes Lilo and Stitch to the restaurant where she works. Before going in, she tells Lilo to behave and sit quietly. Her boss is very strict, and one wrong move means she's fired. Stitch has to be put in a child's high chair to keep him contained. Letting him roam free would be chaos. Just then, David shows up, says hi to Lilo, and tries to chat up her sister. Definitely has a crush, right? After just a few words, Nani turns around and Stitch is gone. Turns out, the little rascal is rummaging in a stall and found a water nozzle. Then he starts mimicking the cowboy movie he saw earlier. The two of them play happily, sharing some really relaxed moments. Lilo and Stitch's bond is growing stronger every day. That evening, Stitch even tries to copy some muscular guys doing a fire dance on stage. The result? The whole restaurant catches fire. Thanks to this little terror, Nani's boss is furious and fires her on the spot. Stitch, oblivious to the trouble he's caused, is still cheerful and wants to keep playing.
Meanwhile, Jumba and Pleakley are tracking them when they get a call from the Grand Councilwoman. She's furious that 24 hours have passed with no news. If they don't catch that experiment soon, they can expect to rot in jail. Nani returns home, dejected, unaware that CIA agent Cobra Bubbles is watching them from a distance. While Nani is on the phone, Lilo tries to give Stitch a bath, but it's a no-go because he's scared of water. Not only that, he runs around, trashing the place and making a huge mess. Nani finally snaps, angrily declaring she's taking Stitch back to the shelter. Lilo disagrees, saying, "They're Ohana. Ohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten." During the argument, Nani accidentally raises her voice at her sister. She immediately realizes her mistake and softens her tone. "I know that's what Mom and Dad taught us, but that's not how things are now. Mom and Dad left us too, didn't they?" The pressure on Nani is immense. Finally, she agrees to let Stitch stay, but they need to keep a closer eye on him. In her room, Lilo tells Stitch he needs to behave, be respectful, and not touch other people's things. But the furry blue creature doesn't care and continues his rampage. Lilo puts a flower lei around Stitch's neck, and strangely, he calms down a bit. Then, they look at Lilo's old family photos together. While looking, Lilo asks if he has a family. Stitch says no. Hey, how come she's not surprised her pet can talk? Lilo thinks the reason her blue friend misbehaves might be because no one has ever cared for him. Seeing a picture, Stitch asks what it is. Lilo tells him about hula, a Hawaiian dance, and so they start dancing together. The next morning, as the sisters are about to leave, they find the social worker and the agent standing at their door. While she's introducing Nani to the branch director, explaining that their case is getting complicated, the agent sidles up to play with Stitch. When no one's looking, he plucks a strand of Stitch's fur. Lilo wonders why a social worker has a tattoo on his arm. It just doesn't seem right. Nani promises to find a new job that day and then leaves with her sister. All day long, they go job hunting everywhere, from restaurants and diners to hotel reception desks. But because the two troublemakers, Lilo and Stitch, cause chaos wherever they go, no one wants to hire Nani. While they're sitting around feeling dejected, Stitch, who knows where, brings back a flyer advertising for a surf instructor. It's right up Nani's alley, so she decides to take the job. With her years of surfing experience, everything goes smoothly. Stitch is sitting bored on the beach, eating sand, when he sees a dog surfing with its owner. He thinks it looks awesome and convinces Lilo to take him into the ocean. At first, he's a little scared, but once he gets used to it, he starts having a blast. Suddenly, Jumba and Pleakley appear trying to grab Stitch. But before they can do anything, he pulls them into the water. Lilo's group doesn't fare much better. Their board flips and everyone falls in. The problem is, Stitch can't swim and is terrified of water. He panics and in his desperate struggle, pulls Lilo under. David, watching from the shore, immediately dives in to rescue them. Luckily, Lilo is safe. An ambulance is called to take her to the hospital. While waiting, Stitch looks incredibly remorseful. The doctor comes out and says Lilo is fine. Thankfully, she was pulled out just in time. A few more seconds and it would have been too late. Before leaving, he tells Nani she has to pay the hospital bill in full before she can take her sister home. But the problem is, Lilo doesn't have insurance yet, and paying this bill won't be easy. Just then, the social worker arrives. She says there's a way for the state to cover all the costs, but in return, Nani has to give up guardianship of Lilo. Helplessly, Nani watches her sister laughing in the hospital room, her heart breaking. Over with Jumba, he's wondering why Stitch protected Lilo. He didn't create him for that purpose. Just then, the Grand Councilwoman calls. She's furious, saying they've been too careless. Everything's been exposed. Humans now know about aliens, so the mission is officially canceled.
The Grand Councilwoman orders Pleakley to arrest Jumba and take him to prison. But Jumba is quicker and locks Pleakley up, saying he'll now catch Stitch his own way. That evening, while eating pizza together, Nani asks Lilo if she remembers the time Nani went on a long trip. Even though they were on opposite ends of the island, they could still visit each other whenever they wanted. They just weren't together all the time. Lilo realizes what her sister is hinting at and asks, "Are you going away?" After much hesitation, Nani still can't bring herself to tell Lilo the truth and just makes an excuse to step outside. While she's sitting alone, lost in thought, Lilo appears, carrying her ukulele. The two sisters talk for a long time. Lilo tells Nani how much she misses their parents and that Nani is the most important person to her now. Lilo hands her sister the ukulele and Nani starts to sing. She promises her sister that no matter what happens, she will always love her. Meanwhile, Stitch has overheard everything and decides to leave. He blames himself for the accident that happened to Lilo, which is now forcing the sisters apart. He returns to the animal shelter and sadly crawls back into his old cage. The next day, the social worker comes to pick Lilo up, but when they enter her room, they're shocked to find she's not there. It turns out Lilo was worried about Stitch being gone and went into the forest to find him. Following his trail, she reaches the animal shelter. When she sees Stitch, she asks why he left. Stitch says he wasn't good and it's his fault Lilo got hurt. But Lilo tells him not to worry. It was all just an accident. We're family, and family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. They hug each other emotionally. Stitch looks so darn cute. Just then, a portal opens and Jumba steps out, declaring the blue creature belongs to him. To protect Lilo, Stitch lunges, grabs Jumba's gun, and fires two portals, one above, one below, trapping Jumba in an endless falling loop. Seizing the opportunity, the two make a run for it. But when they get home, no one's there. As Lilo is about to call her sister, there's a knock at the door. Stitch stops Lilo from opening it. Turns out it's Jumba. He escaped the loop and tracked him down. He tells Stitch, playtime's over, it's time to go back. Hiding behind the kitchen counter, Stitch quickly opens a portal and uses it to escape with Lilo. Unable to catch them, Jumba starts wrecking the house. He says humans are always attached to material things, to memories. Humans let emotions guide them, which makes them weak and leads to stupid decisions. As Jumba is about to destroy the nameplate on her parents' door, Lilo rushes in and tells him to stop. In the tense moment, Stitch attacks Jumba to protect his friend, biting him on the neck, making him scream in pain. Pleakley also appears, startling Lilo, who accidentally sprays him with pepper spray, revealing his alien form. Just then, Stitch is captured.
As Jumba is about to finish him off, Lilo throws a frying pan at his head. Stitch seizes the chance, opens a portal, and a refrigerator falls, pinning Jumba down. Lilo also grabs the enemy's weapon. Jumba surrenders, telling Stitch it's best to go back before the Galactic Federation arrives. You can't hide forever, and I know the only reason you chose this girl was to protect yourself. Learning this truth deeply saddens Lilo. Jumba adds that if Stitch wants to protect Lilo so badly, he should turn himself in and leave. After a moment's thought, Stitch drops his weapon, willingly puts on the collar, and goes with Jumba. When Nani gets home, she finds the house completely trashed and has no idea what happened. Everyone else shows up, worriedly looking for Lilo, but she's nowhere to be found. Just then, Pleakley in his true form crawls out of the rubble, scaring everyone. As soon as he transforms back into a human, the agent cuffs him. Pleakley tries to explain, saying he has the spaceship's tracker and Lilo might be on it.
Back on the ship, Jumba muses that theoretically Stitch is a ruthless monster, but he isn't. And by removing his capacity for love and emotion, he'll create a more perfect, invincible creature. Then, the Grand Councilwoman and the Council won't be able to stop him. And just then, Lilo appears. Who knows how she snuck onto the ship? Stitch is surprised too, but the danger is she could be discovered at any moment. So he has to destroy some wires in his cell to create a diversion. Lilo wants to free Stitch, but accidentally hits the windshield wiper button. After a long while of mashing buttons on the control panel, she finally succeeds. Stitch immediately lunges, and the two struggle for control of the ship. Stitch quickly pulls a lever, opening a door, and Jumper gets sucked towards it. His large, chubby body perfectly plugs the hole. He frantically begs for a truce, but Lilo refuses. So she touches Jumba's belt, transforming him into his human form, and he flies out, lost to who knows where. The ship is now uncontrollable. Out of options, Stitch tells Lilo to jump. It's their only way out. As she's about to, Lilo's family photo suddenly falls. Stitch immediately tries to retrieve it just as the ship crashes into the sea. Meanwhile, Nani's group, following the tracker, arrives at the scene. Seeing the sinking ship, they quickly swim out to help. As for Stitch, just as he climbs onto a piece of wreckage, he spots Lilo trapped at the bottom of the ocean. Despite his fear of water, he doesn't hesitate and jumps in to save his friend. After lifting the ship debris to free Lilo, Stitch's molecular density rapidly increases due to water exposure, making him too heavy to surface. Lilo comes up for air, then dives back down, trying everything to pull Stitch up, but fails. Knowing this is too dangerous, Stitch pushes Lilo's hand away, wanting her to save herself. Out of air, Lilo has to surface. Just then, Nani and David arrive, pulling her onto a surfboard and swimming to shore. Stitch, underwater, sees his friend is safe and feels relieved, then slowly loses consciousness. Worried about her furry friend, Lilo wails, begging her sister to save Stitch because he's part of their family too. Nani reconsiders and dives back into the sea. She tries everything but can't bring him up. So determined, she carries him in her arms and walks along the seabed to shore. Finally, when Nani and Stitch emerge, everyone rushes over. They try to revive him with a defibrillator, but there's no response. They need something stronger. So, Lilo runs to get jumper cables from a car. When everything is ready, Nani starts the car. But Stitch still doesn't wake up. Lilo kneels beside her friend and cries. Nani cries, David cries, the neighbor cries, I'm crying too. But no, the next second, Stitch suddenly opens his eyes. Everyone erupts in joy. In the midst of this emotional moment, he coughs violently and then throws up Lilo's family photo. But it's not over yet. Another alien ship appears. The Grand Councilwoman and a squad of guards descend, surrounding everyone. She says she's here to take this dangerous experiment away because he's a threat to the entire galaxy. Lilo begs them to release Stitch, but her plea is denied. The Grand Councilwoman apologizes for all the trouble they've been through and informs them that the one who caused this problem will be imprisoned. When the Grand Councilwoman still refers to him as Experiment 626, Stitch interrupts, "My name is Stitch." He then asks if he can say a few goodbyes. Lilo sadly sits down and hugs her furry blue friend. The Grand Councilwoman is surprised by this scene, curious, and asks who these people are. Stitch bravely replies, "This is my family. I found them, all on my own."
This moment might be a bit cheesy, but I'm crying again.
Pleakley asks the councilwoman if Stitch can stay with his new family. She says it's impossible unless an agent stays behind to watch him. Well, what do you know? That's exactly what Pleakley wants, and he volunteers for the job immediately. The Grand Councilwoman remarks that humans are fascinating creatures. The decision is made. Experiment 626 is sentenced to lifelong exile, effective immediately on planet Earth. Hearing this, everyone is overjoyed. Finally, a truly happy ending. When they return home, the house is a disaster zone. Just then, the social worker arrives with a surprise. Lilo will be cared for by the neighbor. This is a wonderful solution. Lilo tells her sister to focus on her studies at the Marine Biology Institute, as that's what their parents would have wanted. Everyone happily hugs each other. The movie ends. This is the Disney animated to live-action film that just came out yesterday, titled Lilo and Stitch Live Action.